Good evening, everybody. This is Silk. We're doing a kind of a turn recap here for A View to a Kill, turn 12. All sorts of stuff happened this turn. So this may be a bit of a rambling thing, but hopefully I'm sure y'all will follow along okay. All right, so we've got lots and lots of things to kind of chat about here. So let's try to kind of take them in order. All the fun stuff in the Mediterranean, right? Like, as I said, I kind of want to do a callback, right, to the very beginning of this when I said about how it was going to be really interesting with me playing Commonwealth and Players play in Germany, that we kind of know what the other player likes to do a lot. And so at the same time, we'd have to kind of mess with each other. And boy, is that just coming back to us in spades here. Just all sorts of moves and counter moves and whatnot. And that's mostly what we kind of want to chat about here. So you saw where Italy certainly kind of went to war and went to go, and very much anticipated on my part of what that was going to be. It was going to look like. I have to give the Italians credit there. You saw that run up when, as soon as I moved away to go solve that problem in India there, that was when Panzer responded with his 5 destroyer build, which I got to put on the board. So good. So good from a kind of tossy-turvy sort of move. It absolutely flips the script on what we were trying to do. We're, of course, trying to hem in the Italians here, and Panzer goes ahead and does a huge flip, doing a giant buy here, bringing all these destroyers onto the board. And it very much kind of asks the question of what are you going to do, how are you going to deal with it kind of thing. And it absolutely flips around all of the choices of what we had left to do. And part of that comes down to objectives. For the Allies, they've mostly kind of got to try to keep the world order. They got to kind of keep what's theirs, and the Axis obviously very much want to take it away from them. And so that fleet that I was using was really oppressing the Italians. Just turn over turn there. That was really kind of locking them in. But as Japan was able, you can kind of see what Bruce was doing. As Japan was able to rev up and threaten my holdings in India, that was going to really tax our resources there. Just from a money standpoint, because if I've got to fight for Malaya, or we don't get our 2 points, and I can't do that obviously while Japan's actually getting FEC money. So that's what brought my fleet back over here, and I saw a pretty good chance to kind of kill those guys. I could kill some transports and kind of weaken him, so to speak, and kind of get his attention a little bit. And then in response to that, we're expecting the Italians, of course, to go to war potentially and kind of run in the middle of the Med for a little bit. But Panzer J's giant destroyer buy, I had no expectation for. Like we were pretty sure he was going to slam into the Soviets and fight that out. But I think once he saw how huge that army was, that I still got to get on the board. Bad me. There's Soviets put 74 units down. I think it was 74, 75 units down on one turn. And then put about 30 units down on a turn later. Now, they're all over the place. They're a big, slow army that has almost no offensive punch to them. It's the downside. It's a huge, anvil, but there's no hammer. And so I think that's what kind of Panzer J felt he could kind of get for one turn at least. Maybe more, we'll see. But at least for one turn, he felt he could go ahead and support Italy with a big naval buy out of southern France there. And it definitely is going to cause us a fair amount of pain here. The 2 fleets combined is going to let him, hold this for quite a while. America might have something to say about it eventually, but America has problems in Japan. So you kind of have to, you know, hem and haw and do a little bit of both. Meanwhile, it's going to let him create stress points for across all of Africa and Egypt, you know, and all that you're going to see coming. So far, I mean, this is not a, you know, these guys are here, not a huge, massive threat yet. But once the Germans get involved, you're going to see that change pretty quickly. He's going to be able to bring Dak down. Dak will show up here in Tobruk to harass us and be able to just come straight across. That's why I started this fortification the last turn, was to try to limit the effectiveness of that. When I got 4, 5, 6, I got 8 units here. To try to get Egypt solidified as best I can. That's the kind of big challenge that we're going to have. The Italians are going to be a little slow, though. We're at least going to have a little bit of time to deal with some of these other armies here in the south from getting to us too quickly. What else do I want to kind of comment on? Oh, sure. Pacific. All right, so Bruce way over here. I certainly expected him to conquer this. That was kind of a given. Once he had made the whole push to here, he brought more than enough to just, you know, vaporize those guys. And in response to that, I went ahead and felt I had the chance to beat him up in Siam. So I went ahead and countered to kill Siam. We'll see if he lets me have this or not. That's going to be kind of one of the big decisions he's going to make, because this stack, however, here is coming pretty hot and hard right back. And he doesn't really care as much about this. This is the prize, is Malaya. That's what the Allies are desperately going to try to hold on to. However, at the same time, if we can't hold on to Malta or Egypt, it doesn't matter. The Allies have to hold on to all of them. So he may let Malaya go, and if the Germans and the Italians decide to force more attention on Egypt, they just may not care, you know. So you may see him come over here. You know, all of these guys may leave and just come right back here, and he'll do a big fight here. Or you just might see him not. He may just decide that's not important, and he instead is going to come down here and occupy all of this. Or his fleet's big enough, you may see him go to Caroline or Wake, and because he can combine, you know, he combines these fleets here, which is, you know, all of these guys here get combined with these 2 heavy battleships, his carrier, and what he's got there, and he can suddenly challenge the Americans pretty well. But if he does that, it's going to kind of let the British run around on him. You know, I mean, the British fleet is not small here. So it's kind of going to be really interesting to see where we kind of go from here. You can see all the fleets are moving, and it's a lot of give and take and dodge back and forth and whatnot as we try to kind of play. It's just play and counterplay, which is so much fun. So neat to see. Really having a good time with this game. With this group. You guys are great. I absolutely love it. Anything else to call out? Oh, the poor American Tech program. Oh, Jesus, 1 for 7. I've been there. Yeah, I've had a worse American Tech program than what you guys are seeing here, but it's just so smart for America. It's so hard for her to get into the game and affect things because of how late she starts. The tech is kind of designed, I think, to help catch up for that, and the dice are just not there. So America is just feeling way behind. So have a little bit of pity on that. That's probably it for now. I may do another one later once I get I see what Germany, maybe one after I see what Germany and Soviets do here, back and forth. That might tell us a few things for how they decide to fight, and I'll start talking about points and strategic objectives of what people are trying to score and all that kind of stuff. That's all I got. Like, look for a potential hotspot here. You're gonna have a potential hotspot here. You might have a hot spot up here. You almost definitely are going to have a hot spot here. Like that's, you know, you don't do that accidentally. This is going to flip these two territories to the Italians. Yeah, Germans are gonna be on a tear. They're gonna do some stuff. But yeah, if the Axis think they can flip Egypt, they'll try to flip it. It's just great for them. So that I very, very much expect will have a hot spot. And then the Kiev border, you're gonna see probably a good clash between the Axis and the Allies, or Axis and the Allies, Axis and the Soviets there. So keep an eye out for that. That's all we got, though. Everybody have a great time, and we'll check back in with you in probably a couple days.